Rumor mill is the big one, as kind of per usual anymore. We have Russo brothers denying that those MCU leak images are from anything they're working on. Plus, we have Colin Farrell might be stepping in to take over for Daniel Craig for a different DCU movie than what you might be expecting. We also have WB is putting everything on Superman to a degree. If Superman doesn't do well, then it's going to mean a major shakeup over at WB. And we have Sadie Sink as Mary Jane in Spider-Man 4. There's some speculation that we need to talk about because I feel like there's a lot of information floating around out there. So without any further ado, let's do the rumors.
Maybe. It's classified.
Welcome, nerds, to the Clips channel. This is the reason why I'm convinced most people watch The Week in Nerddom as a whole. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, over on the main channel, Generally Nerdy, this is a small portion of the main show that I do on that channel called The Week in Nerddom. We talk about movie news and gaming news and comic books and so on and so forth. And we talk about the rumor mill as well, which, you know, that's why you tuned in, because you want to hear all of the juicy gossip as to what's going to be happening in the pop culture sphere of things, comic book movies, comic books, etc., etc. We get into every aspect of the nerddom here as it pertains to what is rumored to be happening, or we're going to kill some rumors, or we're going to shoot some stuff down based on the weakness of the person who is leaking the information, the rumor monger, if you will. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's jump into the rumor mill, shall we? Confirmations and refutations is where we start in the rumor mill. And we have a refutation? Question mark? Refutation, it has to do with the MCU Leaks. So the Russo brothers, we've been talking about this ad nauseum since it came out, right? I think this is relevant though, because I think this is the Russo brothers playing a little coy. We did learn last week that the images predate the Russos' involvement on the project. So that's why I say this is kind of a refutation. They're refuting the idea that this is concept art from their movies. They are saying that neither Secret Wars nor Doomsday are going to look anything like these images. But really, if you think about it, there's bound to be some similarities, just because we know roughly the territory they're covering from the comic books. They're not going to do it a straight adaptation of any sort of comic book story. Like, that's just not the way the MCU has really functioned. But we know rough ideas of where they're going. So like, yeah, some of this stuff is going to be, and also we're going to be able to confirm at least some of this, because some of those images that leaked were from the Fantastic Four movie, which comes out fairly soon. So if those are accurate, probably we're gonna see a little bit of accuracy. Maybe I'm less sure of my 50% prediction from 2-3 weeks ago, but still, I would hold on to maybe a 25% representation of this artwork in the new movies. But the Russos say that it is not from their project, so it has nothing to do with the things that they're working on. So that's your refutation. Like I said at the beginning of the season, this is going to be a big merch push season. We are jumping in to doing the merch. I have the first specialty piece lined up. That's probably going to drop next month though, so we're looking at April for our first specialty piece. So jump in now, get yourself some basic nerd shirts, just the real basic design. Let the world know that you are a nerd and you love the things that we talk about on this show. In the broad strokes, at the very least, there's the music nerd, there's the movie nerd, there's the gaming nerd and the tech nerd and all of the different kinds of nerds that we embrace here at Generally Nerdy, and then all of the other ones. If you feel like your category has been missed, please by all means let me know and I will make a shirt based on that information, assuming I agree with said information. But either way, merch push, go check out the merch store. We got some pretty awesome stuff And I'm actually quite proud of these designs because I did them all by hand. So thank you very much, nerds. Go check out the merch store. Don't forget to, you know, pick something up while you're there. It helps the channel a lot. As soon as we can start regularly getting merch out, I can start cutting back hours at the day job. That's how this works. I can focus more on entertaining and informing you guys. So thank you very much, nerds. Let's get back to the video. It's the only one we got, no confirmations either, so let's talk. No actual new sources for old rumors, we just have new damn rumors, all right? So, new rumors. First one is Colin Farrell is reportedly going to be replacing Daniel Craig on a new DC Universe project called Sergeant Rock. Craig dropped out, no word as to exactly why, but it's interesting because this is another DC project. Colin Farrell is already the Penguin. However, the Penguin exists in the Reeves-verse, if you will, and the Sergeant Rock character is supposedly going to be in the DCU proper. So different universes, same actor, could happen. This, I almost was going to give this a much lower likelihood score just because, like, there is so much that Colin Farrell probably doesn't want to do with the DCU at this point. But then I'm pretty sure I saw it in one of the lesser trades. It was in not Variety, something else that has a super high profile, but is and has a pretty good reputation, but is also broke the as far as I know, it was broken by a very less than reputable source. And Colin Farrell has already kind of said that this is kind of reading between the lines. I don't want to mislead anybody, but he has implied that he's kind of done with this kind of stuff for a while. He is one that wants to make a one for you, one for me kind of movie making situation. So he did the one for you was the Penguin. He's going to be returning as the Penguin in the next Batman movie. So the one for him is probably what he's going into now. So the fact that 50%, we're saying 50% likely that Colin Farrell is going to be playing Sergeant Rock in the DCU. I feel like that's just a big contractual obligation that he's not going to want to waste his time with. So next up, we have WB. Oh yeah. So we have a big rumor that David Zaslav, who is now in charge of Warner Brothers Discovery, he is the CEO of said company, is on the brink of promoting Peter Safran, aka James Gunn's production partner, to the head of the entire movie division, not just head of DC, co-head with James Gunn. Everything apparently is hanging on the success of Superman. If Superman does well, because none of the sources, this comes from quite a few different places, none of those sources though specify what exactly is hanging on the success of Superman. If Superman does well, I am assuming, then Safran's gonna, yeah, that's right, Safran's gonna get the job as head of the movie division, and the two existing heads are just going to have to be out on unemployment. If Superman does not do well, then it sounds like there's going to be some crazier shakeups in Warner Brothers. Either way, it's going to be a shakeup. But according to this rumor, if Superman does poorly, it's going to be a wild shakeup. So the likelihood that this is a thing, Zaslav has implied as much, maybe to a lesser degree, I think. I don't know that he's ever implied that the entire movie-making division of Warner Brothers Discovery is dependent on a single movie. He's never really said anything along those lines, but he has said he wants to clean house. He has said that, you know, DC are the movies that should be making the money, etc., etc. There's a lot of things that you can kind of connect the dots and get to a very similar conclusion as this. So we're going to say about 60% likely that Zaslav, and I feel like that's very conservative. I really feel like there's a lot of energy behind this. I'm playing it conservative this week with that. Next up is Cujo. The Netflix bought the rights so they can make a reboot movie of the Cujo book from Stephen King. The new rumor around that is that they're going to be getting Darren Aronofsky to direct their Stephen King adaptation. This feels not accurate. I'm actually changing my prediction in real time right now because I don't think 50% is accurate. I think it is a little bit lower than that. We're going to drop that down to 40% likely that Darren Aronofsky is going to be the director for the Cujo movie. A number of reasons why. A, Aronofsky is more of a art house kind of guy. Not exactly one to do an adaptation, though I know he did do the he did the Moses movie. Not Moses. He did do the Noah movie, which was an adaptation, a different kind of adaptation. I don't know that you could ever put this into the same category as that. Stephen King and the Bible? Yeah, not really the same thing. Also, Stephen King, like I don't know that Aronofsky doing horror doesn't feel like he'll do something like Requiem for a Dream, which is a kind of horror, but it's not like traditional like monsters and slashers and that kind of stuff horror. So supernatural, nothing. Yeah, this just feels wrong in so many levels. So we're going to go 40% likely that Aronofsky is going to be directing this. This one actually comes from I'm pretty sure it was Deadline was the final source that I saw this on. So this is going against type, because usually once it's made its way into the trades, it's kind of all but confirmed. I just don't see this one panning out. So there's that. And then our final rumor for the new rumors is Coyote vs. Acme, the Warner Brothers animated movie that they've been sitting on for over 2 years now at this point. Reportedly, Warner Brothers is looking to sell distribution rights to a different company. They don't want to distribute it themselves, but they want the opportunity to possibly make money on it still, so they're going to be selling the rights to somebody else to put it out. I mean, it sounds like there are a number of production companies out there that are looking to do it. We do see that Warner Brothers wants to I don't know if promote is the best word for it. They want to do something with animation, because we have the Saves the World, the Looney Tunes Save the World, whatever movie that's coming out. We talked about it when the trailer dropped. It looks pretty like it's going to be classic Looney Tunes animation. So they're doing that. They're doing minimal amount of promotion, actual promotion for it though, which is why this seems a little weird. It has been said that there are people who have seen this movie already, even though it's not been released, behind the scenes kind of thing. And they say that it's great, so maybe Warner Brothers is trying to find any avenue through which it can make a couple of bucks. I don't know, there's just a lot of things, again, if you're reading between the lines and you're paying attention, kind of start to add up in the favor of this. So we're gonna say about 70% likely that somebody else is going to be releasing the Coyote vs. Acme movie. And then that brings us into our speculation, which I've kind of already sold you. I gave you the speculation in the movie section because of the weirdness with Sadie Sink. Spider-Man 4, Sadie Sink and Spider-Man 4. It would seem that Sink is playing Mary Jane rather than Jean Grey as once assumed. Theories of Jean being in Spider-Man before an X-Men movie come out seem to be a bit far-fetched. I can't see Feige doing something as complicated for a normie viewer as putting an X-Man in a Spider-Man movie before we get an X-Men movie. I think that there is a possibility of a crossover movie eventually. I just don't think that now is the time to do that. It seems to reason that Feige is very single-minded in that he wants to establish a character or a group of characters even, in their own movie and then branch out from there, and not in reverse of that. You don't start with a bunch of characters and then you give them their own movie. Like that's just not the way that the MCU has worked ever. So yeah, that's my speculation. Again, I kind of ruined it because we talked about it because of the whole Sadie Sink interview thing. Oh, that's the rumor mill though, nerds. Thank you very much, nerds, for tuning in. If you want to level up your nerdy, geeky, pop culture knowledge, then don't forget to subscribe and do all of the things. Go check out the main channel, Generally Nerdy, for the larger portion. Again, you get all of the sections into one convenient video over on Generally Nerdy. The name of the show is The Week in Nerddom. Thank you for checking out this clip. We will see you next time. Before we go though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.